Hello, this is Eric Smith. I'd like to show you how you can use John Pipkin's new Picklist Lightning Screen Component. This is the first Flow Picklist component to provide full support for record types. In my case here, I have a case object with 8 different record types, and on that object, I have a field called service category. Now, service category is dependent upon a controlling picklist field called residential, and I have another picklist field called impact that's controlled by service category. So I go 3 levels deep on my dependent pick lists. And all of the values in each of these pick lists vary based on both the record type and what the values of the controlling pick lists are. I've set up a simple flow to show how this is used. The first component of the flow, I'm just selecting my record type. And then I've installed the Picklist component on the next screen and then configured that to use my fields. I've given it a name. One of the options for this component is, do you want to have a select option on your drop-down pick list or just the values that are part of the pick list? In this case, I said to include the select. And then I give it the name of my first pick list field, residential fiber. I can put a label on that and say yes or no whether or not it's required. And the component also allows full control over the width that the field will display inside whatever component it is on your page. And that width is a number out of 12. So if you put a 12 in here, you're taking 100% of the width for the field. In my case, I put a 4 in there, so it's going to be 1/3 the width of that particular portion of my page. My second pick list field is service category. I put that in there, again, given it the same size, and then finally added the third pick list, which is impact. And I've also specified my output values. So each of these selections can be put into a variable to be used elsewhere in your flow. And to show you how that works, we'll actually run this flow. I'll first select one of my 8 record types. In this case, I'm going to select support trouble. And now you can see the component is displaying all 3 of the pick list fields that I set up. So if I select is residential, I'll say no. And the service category, you see I have a list of service categories based on that first selection of residential and based on the record type. If I change this first selection to yes, I now have a different set of options for service category. My selection here controls what I see on the impact here. So in this particular case, if it's fiber streaming, my only choice is inquiry. If I change this to something else, I then have other options I can choose from. So all of these pick lists control each other, and the values that are being displayed are restricted to whatever selection I had made for my record type. The final screen component in the flow is just showing what the values were that were selected. I hope you can find a use for this component in your organization.